We live in a data-driven world. Everything you share online is stored and processed. To keep your data safe and hold companies accountable, the EU adopted the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR in short. It is one of the strongest data protection laws in the world that protects your personal data and helps you enforce your data protection rights. Each country in Europe has its own data protection authority. They help companies comply with the GDPR, and when needed, they enforce it and can issue fines. Jointly, they form an umbrella organisation called the European Data Protection Board. The EDPB helps all the European data protection authorities act as one and make sure your rights are protected, regardless of where you live. It decides on the interpretation of data protection law and intervenes when key legal principles are at stake. In this way, the EDPB has a profound impact on the way companies process your data. Since GDPR became applicable in 2018, companies of all sizes that did not use your data responsibly have been fined and forced to change their practices. Following an EDPB decision implemented by the Irish Data Protection Authority, Meta can no longer use its terms of service as a contract to target ads at Facebook and Instagram users. Targeted ads require the processing of a substantial amount of personal data. Facebook and Instagram's terms of service did not clearly inform users of this practice. Therefore, Meta was handed a large fine for the violation of data protection rules. Twitter was fined when private messages were made public. The €450,000 fine made it clear that companies have an important responsibility in keeping their customers' data secure. Instagram was fined by the Irish regulator because it disclosed telephone numbers and email addresses of children using an Instagram business account. The EDPB decided there was no legal basis for this processing of personal data. The disclosure of contact details for business accounts is now no longer mandatory. A hotel chain was fined because it used non-compliant direct marketing tactics. The EDPB requested the French regulator to reassess the way it decided on the fine so as to ensure it was dissuasive. Accor received a €600,000 fine, setting a precedent for how the hospitality sector should store and process the data of its guests. WhatsApp received a record fine because it did not provide enough information to users about how their data was collected and used. The EDPB listed additional shortcomings on top of the lack of transparency identified by the Irish regulator. In addition, the EDPB required that the multiple infringements were taken into account when calculating the amount of the fine. As a result, the Irish regulator increased the level of the fine. This is how the national data protection authorities work together within the EDPB to make sure businesses comply with the GDPR and that your personal data are kept safe. Happy Data Protection Day!